Greetings one, greetings all. Handkerchief Dynasty. Special post-game presentation coming to you. I am, as always, your secret professor, joined by my good friend, the High Priest of Oilers Magic. How are you, High Priest?
Pretty good.
Quite a fixture tonight. Quite a big match.
On paper, it might have been.
It was
but
I mean,
not in the game.
Standings wise,
yeah.
It was an important 2 points, I would say.
Oh, absolutely. Everything but the game itself was, it was intriguing. The game was just a blowout, a laugher.
Yeah. It's kind of refreshing. It's weird though, like being an Oilers fan, because like we've had actually quite a few close games where we've played well and lost recently. We've had quite a few blowouts where we've either destroyed the other team or, on a rare occasion, been destroyed by them.
We haven't been. I mean, I guess the Calgary. The only one that really sticks out to me is the Calgary game where Mikko led in 6. That was the only one that I really remember us being completely embarrassed in. That jumps to mind. Maybe there's been more than that, but I can remember us wailing on teams a few times this year, like Ottawa numerous times, the Flames now a couple times. The Oilers are a good hockey team.
I think so too.
And the Flames were abysmal tonight. I'm really curious to hear. I mean, it's not 2004 anymore, right? The Flames don't have Jerome McGinley. They don't have Mika Kiprusoff. And now they've added Daryl Sutter into that mix. So a potentially toxic situation is brewing in Calgary, I think. Although I was thinking maybe this is like the game tonight is one of those things where like if you catch your kids smoking, you let them smoke the entire pack of cigarettes. So maybe like all afternoon, the Flames and Sutter were out like bowling or line dancing or riding mechanical bulls, and he was like whooping it up with them. And then this happened, and now after this game, he'll be like, "See, is that what you want? Is that what you want?" And he'll
their first loss under his regime, right?
Yeah, in like 3 games, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it could. Yeah, it's an interesting question. What could happen there? Because I mean, they can contend for playoff spots still. But you're right. Like I think they're missing a lot of the top end talent maybe that some other teams have. But again, it's a weird season. So
I mean, ultimately too, like who gives a shit, right? Who cares about the Calgary Flames and their problems? Certainly not me. Certainly not me.
You were talking about how there's like a cosmic energy that when the Flames rise, the Oilers decline and vice versa.
A Flames fan told me that once.
Oh, okay. Do you trust him?
Yeah, he's a really respectable guy. I do trust him. I trust him a lot now that I think about it. I really trust him quite a bit. Yeah. He's an impressive young man.
Well, there you go.
But that was his theory. That when the Flames are tanking, the Oilers are ascending, and when vice versa. So we might be seeing that now. I don't know. The Flames have I don't know. I haven't really bought the Flames for about a decade now, to be honest. Pretty much since 2004, I haven't been convinced completely of the type of team the Calgary Flames present themselves as. And it's kind of becoming, glaringly apparent right now that they're just, for as much identity and kind of posturing as they, kind of give off, I don't think they are that. And I don't think they have that. They're just kind of a bunch of schmucks. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah. And I think like adding Sutter into that mix was kind of like the Trump schmuck card. You know what I mean? Like now they've really kind of played themselves.
Interesting.
Yeah. What did you think about? Let's talk about something other than the
Yeah, no,
Calgary
I
Flames and
wanted
the
to ask
Wizard.
you because we had the lines from earlier a few weeks ago have been reunited with Nuge back with
Mm-hmm.
McDavid. And I'm wondering
Mm-hmm.
if that's almost like a kind of thing where it's like, look, like you've kind of been a little cold lately. Your name,
Nuge.
the contract talks news is out there. You have some spicy takes on that front, but I feel like it was a chance to say, hey, like, you know, we took you off that line. Do you want to be the guy who is on a
Mm-hmm.
second line with whoever we cobble together? Because that's all he ever has gotten on the second line. Like Nuge on the second line,
Well, wasn't he playing with like? Yeah, I suppose like
it's like we were
because
constantly putting players on the second line with Nuge, being like, this guy should be good with Nuge, this guy,
yeah,
but it's never the cream of the crop. Whereas when he's playing with McDavid, you know,
yeah,
so he had a nice night, 2 points, right?
yeah, he looked good. I mean, that goal was absolutely huge for him to get, and when he scored that goal, like one thing my takes aren't on Nuge aren't particularly spicy. I don't think. I think they're more based in reality than some of the takes that come out of the cult of Nuge, which I don't really. Cultism isn't something I really get into. You know what I mean? Being a high priest and all,
Yeah, that's in your
but
past. Yeah.
right, like his shot. I think since that wrist injury, his shot release has been a little bit slower, and he actually did even tonight. He like double clutched, like he gave Markstrom a beat to get over there, but it was just such a well placed shot. Like he went way upstairs with it that he beat Markstrom, but it's not like Markstrom was out of position. Like if Nuge had shot it right when he got the puck, it was like a wide open net goal because there was a bit of hesitation, like he gave Markstrom a chance to get over. But all of that being said, I'm delighted that Nuge scored. You know what I mean? Like he needed a goal. I can't even remember the last time he scored before tonight. So it was great for him to score. And huge goal for Nuge. Absolutely. Big night.
Really, it was just like a feel good night with the people who scored
Yeah,
and the succession in which
absolutely.
they scored. Like Cassian got on there with kind of like a Cassian goal where he's attempted to score on that play like a billion times.
He has scored on it a few times too. That's
It's
kind of
happened
like
before. Yeah.
that's kind of his move. You know what I mean? One of them, like he's
One of
a
them. Yeah.
streaking down the wing type of guy. He's got a few goals from off of that move, but yeah, everything was going in tonight. You know what I mean? And I can't really believe that's weird to me that Markstrom was left in there the entire game because he clearly like didn't have it right. Like after I don't know halfway through the second, he debatably what was it after the first 3-0, 3-1 or something like that? I guess not
3-1, I
after
think.
not after the first, but halfway through the second. I mean, and after Nurse's goal for sure, the 6-1 goal, I thought, get him out of there. Like, why you, but who knows? Who knows how that crazy bastard's mind works?
Mm, mm, mm. I was also talking on Twitter today. I feel as though there's a bit of a weird kind of log jam in our defense core in that there's all these young players bubbling up. We got veterans that some of which, we probably might move on from, but others which we might want to keep. And I don't know. I feel like we need to have a D that isn't in flux as much as it's been. I want to see the pairs settle down somehow. I don't know. It just seems like it's anyone's guess who our six defensemen are that we dress every game.
Yeah, but I mean,
not because they're all good. It's just we have so many options.
Yeah, we really do. It's like it's an embarrassment of riches. It's certainly not something that I can remember the team ever having to deal with before. Like everyone's playing very, very well right now defensively. Like our defensive game, the Oilers' defensive game, I should say, I'm not involved, has been great for a while, like for a month. And when they've had lapses, they've bounced back real quickly. So I guess so. I mean, I guess you want to shore up some pairs, but also maybe not. You know what I mean? Like if everyone's playing well, Yeah, I don't know. It's like 6 of 1. It's weird because everyone's playing well and they're not sticking with any pairs. Like that's a really strange problem.
Well, other
A
than
really
like
strange.
Barry Nurse has been pretty steady. Man, how about Tyson Barry right now? Like, holy cow.
Yeah, well, that's why that's why the Oilers got Tyson Barry, right? Like he's living up to, he's delivering the goods
and really clicking with our high end forwards. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
like if they don't re-sign him, I'll be really like crestfallen. I'll be really sad.
I don't know if you can get a better type of guy. You know what I mean? Like he seems like he's the guy. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if you can't sign him or you get rid of him. Like I don't know where you're going to spend your money. Like what are you looking for? You know what I mean? You have the piece. Keep that piece. Do whatever it takes to keep that piece. It's an important piece.
Do you think Dave Tippett has been somewhat vindicated in terms of like the doubters having to admit that he's gotten pretty good results out of this team? A few kind of like dry spells and losing streaks notwithstanding.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, where were you on Tippett all year? You've been pretty much in his corner.
There were points where, yeah, pretty much. But now I feel like there's no option but to be in his corner and believe.
I think there was moments earlier in the season when both of us went as far as to mention the word like repercussions or you know what I mean? Like he was he was edging on territory that was like pretty serious. But I think we also both pretty much this entire time have had Tippy's back. Like I don't know who else could coach this team. I don't know.
That's a good point.
Maybe there's been moments when, but nothing that lasted, it feels like, more than 72 hours. You know what I mean? Like there was never a big chunk of time where I was like, they always found their way out of it. And it's hard to stay down on a coach when that keeps happening. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of pointless.
Totally.
So I suppose, yeah, he has vindicated himself to the doubters, but yeah.
Speaking of coaches, so our embedded IT guy at Buffalo told us before the news broke that Ralph Kruger let go. I mean, Buffalo is looking like they're hurting pretty bad. Pretty bad. Everyone's saying Ralph Kruger, great guy. Most people are saying probably not going to get another chance at the NHL head coaching job.
Yeah, why would he?
Here's my question to you, though. Like Buffalo, its problems are deeper than coaching, right? So, like, why is it that we think that when an organization has deep organizational issues, that somehow the blood sacrifice of firing the coach does anything? That's my question to you.
Yeah, I'm not sure it will necessarily do anything, but I mean, he wasn't doing anything either. You're a real Ralph Kruger guy. Always have been.
It's just I'm wondering, like, I mean, sure, there's times where teams turn it around really well after a coach, and there's definitely times where coaches have to go, but there's also times where coaches just don't have the horses, and then they get canned, and it's like,
well, you can't. I mean,
can you get the horses? Maybe you're gonna,
Well, no, you can't. You can't. That's the thing, right? The old story is it's easier to fire the coach than it is to fire a room full of players. You know what I mean? Like it's,
of course.
So I don't know. I'm not sure. I just think that Ralph Kruger, like, I don't think he belongs coaching in the NHL, and I haven't for quite a while. His whole resume just is like, I don't know. I just kind of don't buy it on some level. As awful as that may be, it's just like he like made the Swiss national team into like this weird defensive thing that could like win a game every once in a while, and then his value like skyrocketed. Coached the Oilers for half a season to middling results. and then
Got fired by Skype.
And got fired by Skype, and then went on to like be the general manager of a soccer club.
No, he's
and
chairman.
Chairman, right? And then he comes back to coach the Sabres. Like, I buy absolutely none of that. None of it.
It's an interesting career trajectory, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like the career. It's like something that like a scam artist would hit you with. You know what I mean? Like, you go check out, you investigate their past, and you're like, wait a second. Like, none of this adds up.
You know what he's not a scam artist. I mean, but yeah, sure. Yeah. I get where you're coming from.
Like a career criminal. He's a career criminal. Ralph Kruger. They finally caught up with him. He finally got like the cuffs slapped on, like a perp walk out of the Sabres rink.
That's so fun. It's only funny because his reputation is that he's just a phenomenal guy.
Well, it's also funny because his resume is like so bizarre. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like something that a criminal would have. It makes no sense.
Well, you're painting all of Switzerland with like a criminal brush to a certain extent.
No, not well, I mean, I'm just like I'm more sort of honing in on like the Swiss bank account angle. Like, it's very sort of, it's just a little, I don't know. It's just like his coaching this, it has nothing to do with Switzerland, actually. It's just this really bizarre resume that I never for 1 second bought him as an NHL coach. Like, I just didn't see it. Great guy, sure. But like,
you go home and play with your kids. Alec Baldwin is what you're saying. Yeah.
Glengarry, exactly.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, do you think Mike Smith is going to get Vezina consideration at this point?
Yes, I do. Yeah? Why wouldn't he?
Where would you predict he finishes in voting?
Mike Smith could win the Vezina as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? If I'm going to make the prediction that he's going to be in contention, then at this point, granted, I have no idea what's going on anywhere outside of the Canadian division. Presumably, the Northern Abstraction. Presumably, like, Vasilevsky is having another incredible career. He's like incredible season. He's one of the best goalies of like the past 25 years. So maybe he'd win it, but from where I stand, like, I don't know, Mike Smith, he does not let in a lot of goals, and he wins a lot of games. And his save percentage is great. I don't know, man. He's definitely going to be in the mix. And he's like, came off like a weird injury. He's 38 years old. He's as old as we are. Like, he's an old man. I don't know. He's got a lot of things that make for a pretty strong argument. Don't you think so?
I think so. I mean, yeah, it's a hell of a story. I mean, he's playing like a man possessed. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
You just love the way his body language in the net is so super awesome to see. I'm sure it's very infectious. What would you, if you had to put, what's your percentage over under on Ken Holland bringing in, let's say, either a top six winger or a third line center with all the difficulties of trading?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question, man. That's a good question. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I guess the thing of it is it's so tough to kind of, a few episodes ago, I was saying how, like, when you watch a team outside of the Canadian division play, you have to sort of watch it through the lens of what it would be like if they were playing against the Oilers. And it's so difficult. Like, I can't imagine Ken Holland's job being very easy right now, because you're preparing for opponents that you're not going to play until the playoffs. Like, it's crazy, right? So how your team stacks up in the Northern Abstraction might be totally different than what you would need to go on a deep run into the conference finals or something like that. But on the other hand, I mean, do you want to mess with something that's winning? You know what I mean? Do you want to, dance, how's that expression go? Dance with the one that brung ya, or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
you
know what I
gotta
mean?
dance with the one that brung you. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, to get something, you're going to have to give something up, right? So what would you be willing to give up right now to get that? To get a piece like that?
I don't know, like maybe one of the defensemen that's in the logjam. Maybe we bundle like a high draft pick and get someone to take one of our big albatross contracts.
Like who?
There's talk of like trying to like do like a first plus James Neal plus Caleb Jones to like Buffalo or someone that's got a lot of cap space. I don't know. It would be surprising, but I'm definitely hoping for some help because I think it would be really good for the team.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. My personal opinion on it, and I've always been this way, is whenever I've never been a fan of the teams doing really well and then they pick up another piece. You know what I mean? I've just never been a fan of that move. So maybe you're asking the wrong guy. That's just something that I think, like if I would never do that. I don't think personally. If I had a team that was winning and was like, you know, a team, like hockey's such a team game, obviously, I'd be too scared to mess with it.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, but I still think we could use just a tiny bit. We definitely need a little more juice in our forward core.
Yeah, you're probably right.
You know,
you're probably right.
Especially with the injury to JJ. I don't know how long he's going to be out. We could maybe use another center.
That being said, we did just beat the Calgary Flames 7-3. Like the Oilers score a lot of goals. You know what I mean? Like think of those Ottawa games. We blew them up. And we just dropped 7 on the Calgary Flames. Like I wouldn't say it's a routine for us to win big, but it's starting to feel like they're kind of pouring in at times. You know what I mean? That's the feeling I get. That's the direction I feel this team is trending in. Along with like great defensive play, like a real buy-in. Like you're seeing guys block shots like all the time now. Like they look like they're sort of there. Like I don't know. I like the way they're playing a lot right now. I like what I'm seeing, and I'd be afraid to mess with it. But you know, obviously, more is always better, I suppose. Although less is also more, so they say.
It's very confusing, those two axioms.
It's very confusing.
I wanted to quickly do some patron shout outs. Robert, Heinrich, Daniel, Paul, Matthew, thank you so much for being patrons of Handkerchief Dynasty. We absolutely adore you. And each one of you has made our collective day. Yeah, so I'll give you the last word. What do you think? What's of most interest to you going into this this game against Winnipeg and looking at the schedule over the next little bit here, High Priest of Oilers Magic?
Well, I think this Winnipeg game. When was the last time? It feels like the Oilers haven't played the Jets in a long time, and that both teams have really changed a lot. You know what I mean? Since they last saw each other, like they're two different people who haven't seen each other in a really long time. So, yeah, I don't know. The Jets always, those are always pretty good games.
They got a good team right now too. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a team that, I think is a real hockey team as opposed to the Calgary Flames. Like I don't think there's much bullshit with the Winnipeg Jets. I don't think they're bullshitters.
Well, they're Mucho-Macho, but they're not. But it's not Mucho-Macho bullshit.
I don't even know. Yeah, I mean,
they're tough. They're big and tough and strong. They're not Mucho-Macho.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I wouldn't describe
totally
them as
different
Mucho-Macho. The Flames are most certainly Mucho-Macho.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Well, they're pretending to be still.
I mean, did you watch the broadcast tonight? Like you watched the game, the Flames broadcast of the game? Like it's from the broadcast guys down to like every guy on the team, just like the Mucho-Macho bullshit that team spews is incredible. It's incredible.
It's
so crazy. Like the Oilers in the 80s caused the Flames to just like it pushed them into madness and they've never recovered. And like their all of it is just like in reaction to what the Oilers did to them in the 1980s. It's crazy.
No two ways about it.
Yeah.
No two ways about it. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for drawing a line under that, my friend. We'll leave it there. Let's check in again real soon here. Hopefully, this stomping of the Flames starts us off on a nice little juicy streak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A little bit more. You know.
I could use some strike.
Yeah, me too. Peppercorn sauce. To all those out there, thank you for listening. Please visit us on patreon.com/handkerchief dynasty for more fun stuff. I just released a new mixtape too for the Tippy's Boy tier and up. But yeah, always a pleasure, dude. I'll catch you real soon. Thanks for talking.